So Google Calendar has undergone lots of changes ever since it was rolled out, and many changes since the last tutorials I've given on it. So let's go ahead and see what some of these changes are. First of all, it looks completely different as a new user interface. We'll go over some of the major points. We still have the arrows here to change between months. We have different views though. We have day, week, month, year. I don't believe we used to have year. Um, I don't think we did. Schedule. Schedule is different. It used to be called agenda. Now it's called schedule. And 4 days we still have. So schedule will show, if you actually have events, a list of all of your events on a certain day and what times they are. Day is just one day completely blocked out. And most people like myself like to use months. Your settings button is still up here. The settings, I believe, are a little easier. It's gotten easier. They've revamped it. All of your general settings are up here on the top left. And then you have individual settings for each calendar underneath. Calendar settings, access permissions, sharing, event notifications, general notifications, integrating and removing a calendar. We'll go over that in other tutorials, but just want to show you where everything is. Here's a list of all of your calendars. You can have more than one calendar. You can add calendars by pressing this button. We'll do that in another tutorial. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get started with our first event. You can create an event two different ways. Well, I'll show you two different ways. One way is just to click into a day. And this is a quick way to add an event. Let's do event number 1. You can add a time right here in this quick little pop-up window. Okay, and that's about it. Now, another way to add an event is this red plus sign. When you hover over it, it says create event. When you click that button, it brings you to a much more detailed event details page. Okay, so we'll do event number 2. I'd like to show you how to get to that page by clicking here. Event number 1, if we click the event and you click edit, you can get to that same detailed page. Or we'll do one last event, event number 3. You can also get to that with the more options button here. And that's usually what I do. I'll click into the time slot and then click more options. And that brings us to this page. And the rest of this tutorial, we'll just cover line by line what this page is all about. So first of all, by default, the event is an all-day event. If you want it to be a certain time, uncheck the box and pick the time. Let's say 1 p.m. Repeating, this is actually a very useful option. Right now it does not repeat, that's the default, but we can make it repeat daily, every single day at 1. Weekly on Tuesday, because Tuesday was the day of the week that we created this event on. Monthly on the 4th Tuesday, because it was the 4th Tuesday of the month. Annually on September 25th, or every weekday from Monday to Friday. Or you can really get crazy and do custom repetitions. Let's say we wanted it weekly every Tuesday and Thursday, and it will never end. And you could make it repeat every 1 week or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. You can really do anything you want. Every 3 days, and I like picking an end date, a specific date, or after a specific amount of occurrences. So that's the timing. Also, if you want the event to last more than 1 day, you click into the date that you picked, and you can just drag it over. Actually, you could do it like that. I apologize. You could click into the map, into the calendar, and drag it like that, September 25th to September 27th. So let's go back into the event that we were just editing. So you have title, times, repetitions, location. If you add a location, Google Map link will automatically appear and you can click it to get directions. It's very, very helpful. Conferencing we'll get into a little bit later, but that's just if you want to send a video conference link to anyone you invite. Notifications, this is extremely important. I use it all the time. You can get rid of a notification here, or you can click add notification. Notification, SMS, or email. SMS is not an option unless you're using a G Suite for education or G Suite for business accounts. But if you have Gmail, you can still do the notifications or emails. Notification is perfect if you have a Google Calendar app on your phone. Let's say we wanted to do 1 hour instead of 10 minutes. A notification will pop up an hour before the event starts. And let's say we want to do 9 days beforehand as well. So that's very, very helpful. This is where you choose which calendar you're putting the event on. Currently, we only have one calendar, but if you make more than one calendar, which I'll show you how to in another tutorial, this is where you pick the calendar. And lastly, in this box right here, you can add anything you want to this event. So if you're using it in the school setting and it's an assignment, you can upload attachments to it. You can, oh, there you go. There's my notification from a different event I clicked. You can add links to Google Docs, Google Slides, anything, a link to a website, a link to anything. You can add a description, and so on and so forth. Lastly, you can add guests, and if you did that, gives you the option to give them the ability to modify the event or not modify the event, invite others or not, and see guest list or not. And once you press save, it asks you if you want to send your invitations to guests. I will put no, but if you press yes, they'll get an email about the event. And there it is, popped up. I believe there it is. I forget which one we did, right here. And you can always click more details. Okay, so that's creating an event.